Hello, I'm Sampson from Brunton's Propellers. In this video we're going to show you how to prepare your Autoprop for its yearly service. For this video I'm going to use one of the display models to explain how to service your propeller. This is a H5 propeller and there's only a couple of things that you really need to do every year to keep it in tip-top condition. The first one is obviously replacing the zinc. Now the Autoprop has its own unique style of zinc and it comes from a kit available on our website. And it's just very, very simple. You take what's left of the old one off, usually it's a little corroded mess, clean up the surface and just try and get it down to a nice finish. Try not to get any paint there because you need an electrical connection there. We do three types. We do a magnesium, an aluminium, and we also do a zinc anode. We all call them zincs now, but they're actually anodes. So the kit comes just basically it's the anode, and it comes with three little plastic cheese head screws. The idea is nice and simple. They're only just there just to hold it in place and just to take the shear force from when the propeller is rotating. Very, very simple, just nice and gently, just screw the three of them in place. Once you've got a nice firm bond, don't over tighten them, there's not really a great deal of force required on this, it's not going to take massive loads. And that's it, so it's nice and solid in place, and most people just leave it at that. Now this is something that can be done by a diver. We do, a lot of people will just free dive or just have a tank on the boat in the Caribbean and just dive down and swap them out, and that's totally fine. The other thing that we do recommend, as the Autoprop is, it's got three bearings on this model, is that on each of the blades there's two what we call grease ports here. Now we need to use a grease gun with a special little nipple that again it should have come with your Autoprop propeller. We do have these parts in stock, and you need to take out the two grease ports, put in the nozzle, attach the grease gun and pump it through until the grease comes out the other port. It doesn't matter which way, just as long as it's packed and pressurized with grease. I have had people doing this underwater. I wouldn't say I'd recommend it, but it has been done. So it's best to do this on the hard. Obviously this is an ideal situation in the studio, so it's basically, these are M5 panhead bolts on here, and you just need a 3mm Allen key. It should have all come with your propeller. Apologies for the US guys, everything's SAE, or as we call Imperial, it's English over here. So you just basically take these two little bolts out, and you'll notice on the bolt there's a tiny little o-ring on there, and that just helps keep the water out and keep all the good grease in. As this is a trade show model, it doesn't always look like that, so you can get, again, little kits. You can get a spare set of screws, and you can see the tiny little o-rings. We sell the o-rings by themselves or with the screws as well, and you just pop them on, and when you're finished re-put them in. There we go. So you've got your two grease ports off. I'll just do it because it's easier on camera to do it this way. So this is M5 metric, and on this side is NPT. So it's a pipe. So it's a threaded, it's a tapered thread for the grease gun. Let's see if I can do this in one hit. So this is the hardest part, is getting the grease gun to mate up and not smack everything. There we go. So you just wind it on till it stops. There we go. And then what I'm looking for now is to pump through until the grease comes through at the middle port there. And use a couple of pumps, it should be, depending how hard you've driven the propeller. I can hear it going through. It's 5. There we go. And that's it. All you do now is back off. Nice and carefully so as not to damage the threads. A couple more turns and it should be through. There we go. And you can see the grease just seeping out. So we'll keep that. And it's a nice colour. We know it's sometimes it's black and or emulsified from the water if the seals are not quite right. just pop the little ports back on. Again, that's that one. And just the reverse of what we just did. Just nice and tight, just a little nip just to pressurize the O-ring. It doesn't have to have a tremendous amount of force, just enough to keep it on. Just a little nip, and there you go. So now what you would do is you would repeat on all 3 blades. So it's a very, very straightforward process, but it's very highly critical for the Autoprop to work correctly. The bearings need to be encapsulated in grease to work perfectly, and the blades have to be equally free so that they balance when they're spinning. The grease we use, by the way, I forgot to mention, is it's an SKF grease. We use SKF bearings in all the Autoprops. It's our standard bearing of choice. You can actually buy as you can buy anything on Amazon. So if you look on Amazon on the spec sheet for the propellers, if you just had one bearing that's gone out, you can buy the kit from us, which it's a full rebuild kit. Or if you just had one that was a bit iffy, you can actually do that. But this is it's a lithium grease. It's a high pressure waterproof grease. Typically you would find on let's do it for the camera, there we go. You would use it on your boat trailer wheels, in and out from the lakes and stuff. It's exactly the same stuff. Again, it's available from most dealers, but I say this is SKF brand, but there are other alternatives, and that's totally fine. So that's it. We've replaced the zinc, put the plastic screws back in, we've taken the grease ports off, and we've pumped grease through, made sure the blades are nice and free. You get about 1,000 hours before you have to inspect them and then possibly change them, so they have a good long life provided that you look after them. Obviously the zinc is very important because the bronze does have zinc in it, and if you don't keep it up you'll get pink propeller. It goes very soft, very brittle, and it'll shorten the life significantly. And that's basically it. If you keep this up for every year or every time you haul out the boat, you should have a long and trouble-free sailing. Thank you for watching.